A long time ago, in a nice quiet village, there lived a wealthy merchant. He lived there together with his daughter named Bawang Putih. The merchant was very fond of his daughter because she was obedient and kind-hearted. This merchant wife had long passed away. The merchant became a widower, and he was finally married again to a widow that also had one daughter named Bawang Merah. He always goes far away from his family. Every time he is in the home, the stepmother and stepsister always kind and good to Bawang Putih. However, when her father was gone, they changed their behavior to Bawang Putih as a servant in her home. Bawang Putih did all the work that was ordered by her stepmother.
Bawang Putih, you must wash the clothes and do all the housework.
Wash my clothes until clean like new.
Yes, Mom.
She cleaned the house, cooked, washed clothes, and looked for firewood. If her work went wrong, her stepmother would punish her by not feeding her. One day, Bawang Putih's father returned home and fell ill. Bawang Putih was very sad because of it. She never left her father alone. However, God decided differently. Bawang Putih's father died.
While Bawang Putih wept and cried, her stepmother and Bawang Merah were excited because the property and house of Bawang Putih's father now belonged to them.
Look, Bawang Merah, he finally died.
Yes, Mom, we will be rich.
Bawang Putih's life became miserable after her father died. She no longer had her father to love and comfort her. Her stepmother and Bawang Merah further taunted her. One day, Bawang Putih went to the river to wash clothes. She was sleepy and hungry and her body was weak. While washing, Bawang Putih didn't realize that her stepmother's favorite shawl was washed away. When she put all the clothes back into the basket, she was surprised to find her stepmother's shawl was not there.
Oh no! Mother's favorite shawl is gone. It's drifting down the river. What should I do?
Finally, Bawang Putih decided to go home. She tried to explain about her stepmother's shawl. Her stepmother and Bawang Merah asked her to go back to the river and bring the shawl to her stepmother again. Bawang Putih goes back to the river to find the shawl. In the middle of the road, she met a farmer who was washing his cow. She asked him about her stepmother's shawl, and he said that her stepmother's shawl was taken by an old grandmother who was washing clothes on the river. The old grandmother's house is on the mountain. Bawang Putih immediately headed up the mountain. There, she found the old grandmother and asked her,
Excuse me, Grandma? Did you find my mother's red shawl?
The old grandmother came out of the house and greeted Bawang Putih.
Hi dear, what's your name?
My name is Bawang Putih, Grandma.
The old grandmother said that she would give the red shawl back with one condition. Bawang Putih must help her first. Bawang Putih agreed with it. All day she helped the old grandmother. For Bawang Putih, all this work was easy because she used to do it. Finally, it was time for Bawang Putih to leave her home. The old grandmother gives her the red shawl.
This is the red shawl you're looking for. Oh, I want to give you a pumpkin as a gift because you helped me. Choose which one you like.
On the table, there were both small and large pumpkins. Bawang Putih chose a small pumpkin because she also had to carry a basket full of clothes. The old grandmother said that Bawang Putih should open it when she gets home. Arriving at home, Bawang Putih was scolded by her stepmother and Bawang Merah. They continued to beat her. Then they saw the pumpkin brought by Bawang Putih. They told her to cook that pumpkin.
Bawang Putih took the knife and split the pumpkin. What a surprise! The pumpkin was full of sparkling and expensive jewelry. Of course, they asked Bawang Putih where did she get it. The stepmother finally got the idea. The next day, the stepmother and Bawang Merah went to the river. They washed away the red shawl, then secretly they followed the shawl as it washed away. Of course, the red shawl was picked up by the old grandmother. The stepmother and Bawang Merah followed the old grandmother who went up the mountain. Arriving at the old grandmother's house, the stepmother and Bawang Merah knocked on the door. The old grandmother welcomed them. Then the stepmother and Bawang Merah pretended to ask about the red shawl. Just like with Bawang Putih, the grandmother would give them the shawl if they help her. They agree with it.
Finally, Bawang Merah and the stepmother finished their work and said goodbye to the old grandmother. The old grandmother gave the shawl to the Bawang Merah and her mother. On the table, there were both small and large pumpkins. The old grandmother asked them to choose the pumpkin that they like. Then they chose the big one and said goodbye immediately. They did not obey the advice of the grandmother. On the way, the stepmother split the big pumpkin. They were impatient to get their hands on the jewelry inside. Suddenly, they were surprised because inside the pumpkin were venomous animals such as snakes, scorpions, spiders, and centipedes. They were bitten by a snake. Because they were still in the middle of the forest, so no one came to help them. Meanwhile, Bawang Putih lived happily after the jewelry given by the old grandmother made her rich.